This is the Glass Cannon Network.
Welcome, Naish, to Haunted City here on the Glass Cannon Network. This is the show where we play Blades in the Dark, the incredible game from John Harper and Evil Hat Studios. And today we have a very special episode for you. I am joined, as always, by my illustrious cast. They are professionals. They are luminaries of their craft. I got that word out. And today we also have a special guest star. So please welcome to the internet, Salim, Ross Bryant, and our special guest scoundrel, Sydney Amanuel. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Here
Fans
we
are loving it.
Yes. People might be wondering, where is Josephine? Josephine's fine. She's going to be back soon, but today we're doing a very special episode, and I'll explain kind of what's involved in that in a second. But in the meantime, how's life, guys? What's been going on in your life? Ross, what have you been up to, man?
Oh, I just celebrated my 1-year wedding anniversary. That was pretty great.
Oh, yeah!
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Everybody, milestones. Any other anniversaries? Any birthdays? In the comedy club, when I worked in the comedy club, they used to make the host go, "Are there any birthdays here tonight?" And then everybody would cheer for someone if they had a birthday. What about you, Sydney? Did you get married or have a child recently?
Recently, no.
Okay.
I do have, I guess, a milestone.
Great.
I work as a production designer for film and TV, and I've been working freelance almost my whole life, which is like a wonderful, chaotic way to live. And I've been officially working just over a year for the same TV show, which to me feels like a big accomplishment. And also I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But it's, yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a career.
Great.
What do you mean?
That's
What
amazing.
are you doing with your life?
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we ask what the TV show is?
You're going to love it, Jared. It's really, I shouldn't say bad, but it is daytime crime reenactment show. So
This is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's like they do the real interviews. We have the interview team, and then we do
this is great.
the reenactment acting side of it. So I do a
Oh my
lot
God,
of
this is so great.
period piece sets. We have a lot of like episodes from the 60s, the 70s, the 90s. So that's the fun part for me. And then it's always like my son was a psychopath and I never knew. And then we have like a child
killed a woman. News at 11.
Yes. And it's like a small child actor who carves into a desk like, I'm going to kill my family. So I carve into a desk, I'm going to kill my family. And that's my production design.
What is the channel that has all of these shows? Like, is it Investigation Discovery? Or
Yes, it is, Jared. Yes, it is.
I knew it. I love that channel.
It's great. And I think we're on like the 12th season. Like people love those types of shows. And there's so many different ones. Like there's so many of the same type of show, but a different variation. It's quite popular.
This is great. So you know all about crime, which makes you a perfect addition to a cast for Blades in the Dark. Now, of course, the crimes in this game involve electroplasm and spirits of the dead and demons, but still, I feel like, you can bring some of that investigation discovery energy into the game today.
Yeah, but we're not HBO, so like keep it PG, guys, okay? No sexy stuff and no gore, okay?
Great.
Is that true of your show?
Yeah, we have to cut around a lot. We're not allowed to show a lot of stuff, but not on this channel. I'm going to get really gory and also disgusting.
Right, and everybody, full cast, feel free to engage in a little nudity. Nothing hard, but like if you want to just give a little shoulder or maybe some butt crack,
Tasteful.
Yeah, tasteful.
It's like the nudity where like you bend your arm and it's you get really close. And it's like, is it a butt or is that the arm?
You know what? Armpit fetishists, feast your eye.
Oh my
I know there's a lot of armpit freaks in the Naish. If you're listening to this on audio, my pit is fully exposed right now.
Jared, I am a father. Stop this.
This is not where I thought this was going.
Abu has decided to stop the recording. That's fair. I probably have some questions to answer from HR right now. Luckily, that's just Joe O'Brien. So I think I'll be okay. So Sid, congratulations on your 1 year working for.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
That show. That's very awesome. Good. And then Abu, of course, right before we started, you had to clean baby vomit. You had to get a different shirt because your other shirt had baby.
Why are you telling people he changed his shirt so he wouldn't have to do
Look, I'm now shirtless with a hoodie on because all my tops are covered in baby shit. So it's, this is I'm getting ready for the Naish, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're showing a little chest. Wow.
I mean, like we're ready, okay? But yeah, no, I think milestone for me, my baby's still alive. That feels like a milestone every single day. I'm like looking at her, like, still breathing? Okay, cool. So it's just like she had a BCG today, which is like the polio vaccine thing. I don't know. But what was so hilarious is that she had it and she cried a bit, but my wife ended up crying more. And it's like, so I'm there with like the nappy bag and the little muslin, and I'm like, baby, it's okay. She's fine now. She's fine. But she's like, but she was so in pain. I was like, no, but she's okay. We'll just put her on the nipple and she'll be fine. She's like, no, but and we had to go to a separate room for my wife to calm down, and it was great.
Oh, that's so touching.
Cute. I know, right?
That's lovely.
This is my life now.
I wish my wife was a little bit more like that. My wife is like at 4 days old. She was just like, let's roll the baby in the dirt. Let's throw the baby down a hill and see what happens to it. And I was the one that was like crying when the baby got a shot.
You know what's funny? There was a moment, I think it was like week 2 or 3, I don't know. And I was talking to a friend of mine about raising children. And just like, I was like, yeah, you just don't know. It's just really worrying and it's struggling. And then he literally turned around and said, well, just remember this. Stupid people do it all the time. And I'm like,
true.
Damn. That's like so deep. It's like stupid idiots raise children all the time.
Yeah. So the chances of Sydney having to carve a desk up about your kid are slim to none.
It sounds like your kid's great. No worries.
Oh, man.
Especially because you have a little girl, I mean, when we had a little girl, I was like, okay, cool. Well, at least this child won't like shoot up a church, because, not all men do that, but only men do that. So, but then we had a boy, so all bets are off. That joke was probably way too dark for the Naish, and but it's recorded now. All right, guys, are you ready to get into some Blades in the Dark? I'll explain how the episode is different and why we have our special guest star after we get in. Are you guys ready?
Oh, yes.
We're ready.
All right, then let me just say 1,000 years ago, this was a land of beauty and magic. Then came the cataclysm that blotted out the sun and ripped open the gates to the land of the dead. The city of Doskvol is a metropolis of tenements and factories surrounded by crackling lightning towers. Outside the city is a wasteland of vengeful spirits. Inside the city is a teeming hive of despicable scum and villainy filled with denizens like the lipless Chuk. The sun is gone. The only thing that shines in Doskvol are the blades in the dark. And yes, thank you. That is my overwritten intro with a little change. Because today, if you are a regular listener or viewer of the show, you know that Abu Salim's extra character, his secondary character that we haven't seen in a while, was a character named Chuk. Chuk is a hound with a literal dog named Muck that helps him in his exploits. Chuk went with the crew on one score, then betrayed the entire regular crew to get his hands on the coin and made off with it. And then when we gave Chuk a downtime action, he decided to start building his own crew using a long-term activity. And so we will now return in this episode, a special Chuk adventure. Chuk's Crew is the title of today's adventure. And we will start by finishing that downtime activity. I have a clock here called Chuk's Crew that has been waiting to fill in its final section. Abu, what action is Chuk using in today's adventure? What action is he using to recruit people to his own crew?
I think today, his action, I think the way that he recruits is quite slimy, quite horrible. The turning against the original OG crew is something that Chuk has done many a time. And so every kind of crew that he kind of jumps on, he turns on them and he takes a few gold here and there. And those who wish to jump ship with him do. And so this is how he recruits his crew of people, through simply betrayal, upset, anger, theft. Just a lot of blaze in the darkness, really.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's how he does it. He's able to, like, whisper sweet nothings into people's ears and see, it, I would say not necessarily sway. He's more of a man of action. So, he shows power by, betraying in a way, in a sense, and capturing people who are supposed to be leaders in their weakest, most vulnerable positions. And that's how, he sways people to join him.
Great. So are you going to go with sway, or some of that sounded like command, maybe?
I think I'm going to, let me see. I think it's more of, I don't know. I think maybe it's a bit of, I'm looking at my sheet right now. I don't know. Maybe it's like, I tell you what, actually it's more of a kind of looking to see who's the weakest link, who he can actually, understand and kind of turn them into a Judas. And that's how he kind of gets them. So he finds the Judases in the groups and he turns them into his own little Judas clan. That's what he does. So
great.
I want to use survey.
Yeah,
he
that makes sense.
He understands the person and then goes with it that way.
Very good. And the reason we knew we could do this episode is because there's only one section left in the clock. So no matter what you roll, you will have filled in that section and completed your crew. But let's just do it, because I just feel like, we have to stay on ceremony here. We have to make sure we dot all of our I's and follow the rules. Yep. So please, Chuk, roll your survey.
I will. And we've got a 4.
A 4. Congratulations. That fills up the pie. It fills up the clock. Yes. And you now can recruit your entire crew. I'm filling it up. It's completely filled. We have this campaign has 1, 2, 3 filled long-term activity clocks. I don't know why I feel a sense of accomplishment about that. But excellent. So we are now going to build the characters that belong to Chuk's crew. Where do you think Chuk got someone to betray or, what do you call it? Go AWOL from another crew or another organization? What kind of gang do you think or organization do you think he targeted first?
So there was this job, right? This job that took place in a little warehouse. It was supposed to be a simple, run in and take all the, take the stuff inside the warehouse. But what Chuk decided to do was he led people into the warehouse after surveying and seeing and finding out where the weak spot of the warehouse was. And he told a few certain people, essentially, that things might not go awry. And so when the rest of that crew decided to walk into the warehouse, he kept a few of his friendly friends next to him, and he blew up the warehouse, including the gang.
Wow.
And the people that he didn't trust. And essentially that's how it all began.
Very good. Okay, so let's see who betrayed their entire crew and allowed themselves to get close to a enormous explosion. Let's start with Ross Bryant. Ross, who do you think this guy was who stood outside a warehouse and watched his entire crew burn? Or it might not be a guy. Forgive me for making that a gendered assumption.
All right, this sounds like a kind of a heat or thief-esque smash and grab. But Chuk found a turncoat in the mix. I like that you mentioned explosion, because that tells me maybe a little bit about who this person is, and it might help make the first choice. Because if explosions are part of it, then maybe this guy is a leech, and maybe this particular person who got swayed is the one you convinced to actually rig this place with explosives. So we're talking about a guy who's who knows his way around machinery, knows his way around demolitions and explosions, maybe recruited in jail, has a background working in mechanics, maybe on Leviathan ships and construction, but maybe he's a little guy, and the sort of guy that the crew made up of more action-oriented heavies would push around and haze and belittle. Well, they ain't laughing now.
I love him already. Let's start with his heritage. Do you think that this is an Akarosi person? Someone from the Dagger Isles, Aruvia, Severos, Scovlin, or Tycheros?
Now, give me the rundown on Scovlin.
Scovlin, they were the last land to get forcibly annexed by the Empire in a 36-year war called the Unity War. They are a marginalized people. They are treated very poorly in their colonized nation across the water, and many of them have come here as immigrants to find a way to make a living. And they are treated poorly here, and many of them have jobs, very menial jobs in factories and things like that. And they all have, especially among the underworld, a reason to kind of rebel against the established order.
Sounds like maybe a reason why even within a crew like this, they might be an outsider within their own little clique. So let's say this guy immigrated and got jobs doing day labor and construction, but has a knack for spatial awareness, a knack for mechanics, and he's not the kind of guy who went to school, but he learns on the job and learns through apprenticeships and tradecraft, and but he keeps hitting a ceiling. He keeps seeing people dumber than him promoted ahead of him just because of where he comes from. And so because he's plateauing in a legitimate trade, when he gets an offer to make money an easier way, he joins up with a crew on the other side of the law. And that's where I joined the initial crew that I bid farewell to recently.
Yes, I love it. I see the story. I've written in that he has a Scovlin heritage. He's an immigrant, and that his background is in labor, construction, and tradecraft. And what is his vice?
Ooh, that is fun.
Faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, pleasure, stupor, or weird.
This guy. This guy likes gambling.
Great. Anything you want to tell me about his gambling problem? Would you like to know maybe just his vice purveyor?
I think he likes to gamble, not with cards, not with dice, not the wheel. That's for suckers. You got it because everything is about knowing how the machine works. And so I like to watch fights. I like to know all about I like to know all about the competitors. I like to know their weaknesses. I like to know everything about them, because once you know everything about them, hey, then you're just forecasting the outcome. And then it ain't so much gambling, so much as a foregone conclusion.
Well, there is a gambling vice purveyor of the fighting pit in Dunslow. So
Great.
I think that's where you take in the fights, where you perhaps survey the fighters ahead of time to make good bets.
Great.
And so anything you want to tell us about his look? I know you said he's small.
Yeah.
Small in stature.
Yeah, I think, like small, so imagine a guy built like a fire hydrant. Small, squat, and it's really like close cropped, like white blonde hair, like perma blonde, like stubble. And I think he wears like almost like a little like a beret. You know, like not like poet beret, but like French Resistance beret. You know, and
I love it.
And it's like big ass coat, lots of pouches. The clothes are it's made of pouches. There's like gears and tools and shit all over the place.
Perfect. Let's give him some action dots. He gets 4 more. So the leech starts with 2 in Tinker and 1 in Wreck.
Great.
What other action dots will you take? You can use your heritage and your background as inspiration if you'd like.
Great.
The rules say you have to. They say 1 dot from your heritage, 1 dot from your background, but we can be a little looser with that. Just put those dots wherever you think they belong, and remember, you can't have anything higher than 3 to begin.
Okay, great. So I'll say working background. We said this guy worked in design, construction, mechanics. That requires some study. So he's an autodidact in this stuff, an apprenticeship, so he can learn things. He can pick up on things. So I'm gonna throw in study. And because he's an outsider, because he's irascible, he's gonna have some skirmish also.
Right, that makes sense. Great. And then 2 more wherever you'd like for them to go.
Great. I think I'll throw a little something in command, because I think even though he's got this kind of like gruff outsidery thing, he can like snap at you in a way where like the authority of his knowledge comes through. And I'll do finesse also, because you gotta. It's even with a job where wrecking's required. You know, this is like sometimes it's an art, not a science. You got to get delicate.
Excellent.
And in one of these pouches, there's like jeweler's loops and goggles and crap, and like lenses swinging into place to like pick a lock or make a bomb.
Great. This guy is a Swiss Army knife. He's got dots in every attribute: insight, prowess, and resolve. But he's a bit of a jack of all trades because he only has 1 2-dot ability, Tinker. So we will see how that all goes for him.
I could throw things into other. Now you saying that made me instantly
I think it's a good build. I have no problem with this build. But if you'd like to move something, please be my guest.
Because we just said he was able to I think this guy is low on social grace and high on the tools of his trade. So I'm going to take that point out of command and throw that also into Tinker.
Tinker as well. Oh, a 3 Tinker. Okay, he's very good at what he does. That's as high as he can start as a beginning character.
Great.
Great. And now the special ability. And these are complex, but I will just kind of very briefly recap them. Alchemist, when you invent or craft a creation, take +1 result. Analyst, during downtime, you get 2 ticks to distribute among any long-term project clock. That's amazing. You quickly fill up long-term projects. Artificer, when you invent or craft a creation with Sparkcraft features, take +1 result. Fortitude, use your special armor to resist the consequence of fatigue, weakness, or chemical effects. Ghost Ward, you know how to wreck an area with arcane substances and methods, so it's anathema to or enticing to spirits.
That's interesting.
Physiker makes you a doctor. I believe our friend Juliette Bell Rose in the main Remnant campaign has taken that. Saboteur, when you wreck, the work is much quieter. Venomous, choose a drug or poison to which you have become immune. Or veteran, choose a special ability from another source. I'm going to ask you not to pick veteran right now. You have to pick a leech ability.
No problem. I'm going saboteur.
Saboteur, great. When you wreck, the work is much quieter than it should be, and the damage is hidden from casual inspection. Very good. So the only thing left for our friend is to choose the clever friends and vicious rivals. I'm going to go ahead and let you do that, and maybe it'll come out during the game, okay? Great. But would you give us this character's name?
Yeah. Skovlin is kind of like Scandinavian, right?
We've seen it interpreted in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, it can be anything. It could be anything.
But I don't believe we've had a lot of Skovlin characters in our Haunted City campaign so far, so right now you can kind of establish it if you want it to be Norwegian.
Okay, yeah.
Norwegian-ish.
Right. Yeah. This guy's name is Knut. Knut.
Yes. Yeah, and that's all we need. Does he have an alias?
No.
No alias. Okay, great. That's Knut.
I think I have a Knut cabinets in my kitchen that I got at IKEA.
Oh, good thing for you. Knut has an Allen wrench.
Yeah, and one of my favorite authors is the Norwegian author Knut Hamsun. Knut Hamsun?
Are you lying, or is that a real thing?
No, that's real. I have to look it up to make sure I have the name right. I always pronounced it Knut Hamsun, and he wrote a book I liked called Growth of the Soil, and I'm right. Knut Hamsun. All right. Check it out, Glass Cannon Naish. When you're done watching role-playing games online, why don't you read a fucking book? Okay. So, Abubakar, would you please now tell us where Chuk's next recruit came from? We know that Knut bombed his entire old crew because they didn't give him the respect he deserved. Where did he find his next recruit? What was the situation?
So this is a funny one. I think this scenario or space was probably during Chuk's enjoyment of luxury. He was probably at a very famous, infamous ball, dancing and all masked and all this sort of stuff.
They let Chuk in?
Oh yeah, they did.
It was a masquerade
ball. Yeah, it was a masked ball. So they didn't necessarily know technically where I was from or who I was.
I love that Chuk is like, I like luxury, so I like to go to fancy dances.
Absolutely, that's what he does, of course. And he's got, and I think the mask was, what's great about this mask is that it's one of those masks where it's half, but it just covers the mouth here. So but because of course he's missing a bottom lip, it looks like it's part of the mask. So people were like, "Oh, you've got a lovely mask." And it's like, "Oh, thank you." So he kind of really enjoys it that way. And I think he found this next recruit dancing as they kind of danced and move around the ball. And he essentially, it was almost like a battle of wit, a bit of tit for tat. And essentially what ended up happening was Chuk decided this is a great place to recruit. So I'm going to start robbing the place and start stealing the place. And his accomplice ended up helping. And we ended up taking all sorts of different masks and different, sort of goblets and all sorts of types of food. And we kind of reveled in this luxurious mayhem and chaos that ensued as I let my hound Muck go crazy as well as we went along. So it was luxurious chaos is where I met the next sort of crew member.
I imagine like one of those music videos where there's a bunch of hoity-toity people having a fancy party, but then the rappers come in and they make everybody raise the roof.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Hey, you turn that music
mind.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And then there's by the end of the video, there's a dog eating off the table and everything's
Pretty
going
much.
nuts.
It's Who Let the Dogs Out. You're just explaining the music video for Who Let the Dogs Out.
Yeah.
Yes. Which
our
is one
crew
of the
the Baha
major
Men?
inspirations for Haunted City is the Who Let the Dogs Out music video.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm doing air horn every time we say Who Let the Dogs Out. Boom, boom, boom.
As well you should. Sydney, that is your prompt. That is where
Yes.
your character came from. What is your character? What playbook do you think that prompts you to use?
I was between, I was looking at Leech, I was looking at Lurk, and I was looking at Slide, and I think this fits right into Slide, a subtle manipulator and spy, because why else would a crook be at this ball if her idea wasn't also to case the joint? So,
Yes.
Wow.
I think you're absolutely right about that. What can you tell me about? And it's a she/her, right?
yeah, she, her.
Okay, and what is her heritage?
I think she's from Akaros. I think she knows the upper echelon in a way because she grew up there, and she's familiar with, maybe not part of the wealthy class, but is familiar with the wealthy parts of town, and that is why she knew about this ball and maybe weaseled her way in or got an invitation somehow.
That's great. So she's familiar with them, but you say not a part of them. How did she become familiar with them? What was her connection?
So I think that her name is Mathilda.
Nathilda.
No, Mathilda.
Mathilda.
And I think she is 4'7".
Whoa, she's also short.
She's really short. And I think she...
Is it weird that I'm already shipping Canute and Mathilda based totally on height?
It's fine, we get it all the time. I think she originally posed as missing children and would infiltrate wealthy families and enter their homes and live among them for weeks at a time, and then would just rob them, just outright rob them and leave or kill them.
Oh my God.
And she was living that way for a very long time, accruing wealth and sort of status, because on the side, she portrayed herself as just, a normal woman and whatever, what have you. So perhaps I'm between making her background a noble, a fallen noble, she came from a noble family, or just straight underworld. And she has been a street urchin herself and grew up an orphan and basically took on that role to a higher level and was oh, I'm an orphan, I'm your missing child.
I think that sounds totally underworld, if I can give my 2 cents. And let me say also, it's like that movie Orphan. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
It's
It made me
really
think of
good.
that. Yeah.
It's really good.
Very
Okay,
creepy.
I love this character. All right. What is Mathilda's vice?
I mean, luxury would make sense.
And you can have the same vice as Chuk, no problem.
Yeah, I wonder, but I also wonder if she's a little freak, and maybe her vice is pleasure, and maybe she also leans into this Lolita thing, and she's just yeah, I'm going to these parties and playing this character for people, but she loves it.
Right. So I think that's fine. Pleasure likes to seduce people. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that could be fun.
I think it could be very fun. And as I said at the beginning, today's stream is going to have adult content. It's really going to be just a 4'7" woman who looks kind of like a child seducing people. Simulated.
With that. Everything's fine. People who hated on House of the Dragon for all that underage stuff, welcome to Glass Cannon. We're doing it too,
No,
I
come
guess.
on. Mathilda at this point in her career is, 38, but she just maybe she's not that old, but she just looks small and young. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Innocent. She looks innocent.
Yes, if anything, she looks very innocent. She has these big pleading eyes and very soft voice, and she's just scared. She's just scared.
Oh God.
She's terrifying, and I love her.
That's
Okay.
creepy.
Mathilda, why don't you tell me where you'd like your dots to go? So a slide starts with a dot in consort and 2 dots in sway. Where would you like to put your other 4 dots? And you could start by, having one deal with your Akaros heritage, the fact that you're familiar with the wealthy elite, and another dot relating to your underworld heritage, your crime experience.
Yeah, remind me the difference between sway and consort.
Sway is getting someone to see your point of view, persuading through argument, whereas consort is partying with people, making them comfortable, using your charisma to become their friend.
I think I'm going to put 1 dot into sway. I don't think she actually wants to be anyone's friend, and she doesn't love the schmoozy aspect of things, and I think she just wants people to agree with her.
Okay. Great.
And I think that would be her heritage coming from Akaros. I think she has a lot of sway with, certain groups. And for her underworld dot, I'm going to put it... And now remind me the difference between finesse and prowl.
Yes, so prowl generally has to do with movement, moving stealthily or getting in and out of places, whereas you said finesse.
Yeah.
Finesse has more to do with manual dexterity, picking locks, for example, or disarming bombs.
I think she's going to put 1 in prowl. I think, she's a spy, she's a manipulator, she's got to get in, get out.
Right. Okay, great. Yeah, she gets the jewels and gets out of the house before they find out that their new ward has gone missing again. And 2 more dots wherever you would like them to go.
I think maybe 1 in... Would hunt make sense from the perspective of, targeting people? Seeking people out who she thinks is a good target? Or would that be study?
I would say that in Blades in the Dark, as long as you can justify it, you can almost use either. You can use any action for any situation. I would say the way you've described her as this sort of black widow orphan, it sounds like hunt is better, because hunt also has to deal often with ranged combat, but it can also be used to track people and literally to hunt them, which it sounds like she does. Yeah,
let's do hunt. 1 in hunt.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I might put the last one in consort and keep both my sway and consort up high, because I think that's her best traits is dealing with people.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So let's put that dot in consort. People just think she's the most lovely child, and she can get her way with them. She can talk them into things that they wouldn't normally do. She's a real scary little monster. Special abilities, and I just want to mention the first one is pretty good for a slide. Rook's Gambit. Take 2 stress to roll your best action rating while performing a different action. So if you got into a situation where you needed to wreck something or skirmish with somebody, you could pay 2 stress and use sway instead. Here are the other ones. Cloak and Dagger. When you use a disguise or other form of covert misdirection, you get +1 die. Ghost Voice. You know secret methods to interact with a ghost or demon as if it was a normal human, regardless of how wild or feral it appears. The next one's called Like Looking into a Mirror. You can always tell when someone is lying to you. A little something on the side. At the end of each downtime phase, you earn +2 stash. Mesmerism. When you sway someone, you may cause them to forget that it's happened until the next time they interact with you. That's interesting for your character. Subterfuge. When you expend your special armor, you can resist a consequence from suspicion or persuasion. Special armor is something everybody has. Basically, you can check off your special armor, and if someone's suspicious of you, they no longer are. Trust in me, get +1 die versus a target with whom you have an intimate relationship. That sounds like Mathilda as well.
Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I love the you can just tell when people are lying to you, and I love the cloak and dagger, how you can disguise yourself and get that boon. And then as soon as you take off the disguise, you also get initiative in the situation. So you can like basically get a surprise round or like a jump on somebody.
Yeah.
But I honestly think you're right. The Rook's Gambit, the very first one, to take 2 stress and be able to roll my best action rating, like I feel like that might actually be the way to go, because who knows what kind of trouble we're going to get into. I may be very unhelpful with my character build in a situation, so.
Okay, so you're going to take Rook's Gambit.
Yeah, I'm going to take Rook's Gambit.
Yeah, the book says, the first special ability in the list is usually a pretty safe bet. So I think that that's a good choice. And now, while we are just kind of getting... Oh, does Mathilda have a last name or an alias?
I think she uses her last name as her alias, since nobody really knows who she actually is anyway.
Yeah.
And that would be Webb with 2 B's.
Webb, very good. Mathilda Webb. All right, excellent. When you get a chance, fill in who her sly friends and vicious rivals are. Click the arrow up for a friend, down for a rival. And now we're going to enter into our game. We're going to enter into our situation here. So, Chuk, you recruited Mathilda and our friend Canute. And you guys have a hideout somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, and we haven't covered a really huge thing, which is where is first let's do where is the hideout, and then we have to pick what kind of crew is this.
Oh man.
So don't worry, we'll do that quickly. But where do you think the hideout is? The Remnant was in 6 Towers, a kind of a formerly wealthy neighborhood on hard times with a lot of abandoned old mansions and townhouses. But I think Chuk's crew is somewhere else. So you could be down by the docks. You could be in Crow's Foot, which is a neighborhood of a lot of tenements. You could be in Char Hollow, which is filled with factories and belching coal smoke into the atmosphere.
Quite like that. I think that's where we are. Yep.
Char Hollow?
Yep.
Great.
Char Hollow.
Char Hollow it is. And now we must decide what type of crew we are playing. Are they a cult? Are they assassins? Are they hawkers, meaning they sell some sort of product? Are they smugglers? Those are the ones that are... Bravos are good. Bravos are like mercenaries that beat people up and fight for a living. I don't think that they're a cult.
No. I don't know, man. I think... I don't know. What are people thinking? What are people feeling?
Yeah. I'm seeing, it seems like Shadows seems interesting for this crew. As violent and ruthless as all of them are, Assassins doesn't sound like it's off the table. Mm-hmm. Nor does Bravos. I feel like those 3.
Maybe let's go for... You know what? Let's try Bravos.
I think that sounds good.
Let's do it.
That's a cool idea.
Let's go for Bravos.
All right.
Yeah. Bravos it is. So let's look at the sheet for Bravos just so I can tell you more about them. Bravos are mercenaries, thugs, and killers. That does sound like this crew. I'm just going to call them Chuk's crew. Maybe a name will present itself during the game that is better. But for now, let's just call them Chuk's crew. We know that their hideout is in Char Hollow. I'm not going to write more than that for right now because we want to get into the game here. But what we do need to do is choose a special ability. So, are they dangerous? Each PC may add +1 action rating to hunt, skirmish, or wreck.
Ooh.
Oh, that's incredible. You get more dots. Are they blood brothers? When you fight alongside cohorts, which is your gang, you can actually add more gang members to your crew. When you fight alongside your cohorts, you get +1 die for teamwork rolls. Door kickers. When you execute an assault plan, take +1 die to the engagement roll. Whenever you choose assault, you get +1 die to your engagement. Fiends. Fear is as good as respect. You may count each wanted level as if it was turf. That's kind of incredible. Forged in fire, each PC has been toughened by cruel experience. You get +1 die to resistance rolls. That's kind of
like
amazing.
that.
That's
Very
good
nice.
too.
Yeah. Patron, when you advance tier, it costs half the coin. War dogs, when you're at war, -3 faction status, your crew does not suffer -1 hold, and PCs still get 2 downtime activities instead of just 1. We haven't had a war in our Blades campaign yet, but I guess I'm going to have to get on that and make a war happen at some point. You guys really liked the sound of Forged in
Cruel
Fire.
experience, yeah. I mean, there's something interesting there. It's like we've all been hurt in some way, shape, or form.
You're all traumatized, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I like the word web really spoke to me. And considering Knut's background, I think it's the kind of thing where in Shadow, it's just this little like fire plug. And if he steps into firelight, it's just a spider web of scars across the face. Like, just like on this really pale face, just a network of red scars from various industrial accidents and explosions.
We forged in fire, baby.
Forged in fire.
Forged in
+1 die to your resistance rolls. Finally, 2 crew upgrades. 2 things get filled in under the crew upgrades. Like, for example, you could be hardened, which is +1 trauma box. You could have Bravo rigging, 2 free load of weapons and armor. You could take Iron Hook contacts. Yeah, someone said that they were formerly in prison or they dealt with people in prison. That means you're +1 tier when you go to prison.
Correct.
Or you could take a cohort of elite rovers or elite thugs. Rovers are kind of helpful with transporting things or traveling, and thugs, a little bit self-explanatory. They're helpful when they beat people up for you. As a level 0 crew, I believe you'd have like 3 extra guys floating around if you chose one of these cohort options, elite rovers or elite thugs. You can also put your upgrades into your layer, or the quality of your documents, gear, implements, supplies, or even into the ability to train a certain attribute like insight or resolve. You can already train and get extra in prowess. A new cohort, it says, so you can't take elite rovers or elite thugs yet. It says a new cohort costs 2 upgrades. So if you want extra gang members, you'd have to spend both of these upgrade points on a cohort right now.
Maybe we want we definitely want something, because we're quite tinkerers, right? Mm-hmm. You got a bomb maker in our crew, so maybe something in the workshop.
Okay,
that makes sense. You could take a workshop in your lair, which would help.
And then maybe and like kind of screwed up last time where we didn't take quarters, did we? Or do we want to go for like 2 free? I don't know. What would be kind of slidey? What would help us slide?
That's a great question. I think that something that would help you slide, perhaps. That's a great question.
Would it be hidden?
Well, being hidden means your layer is carefully hidden, and it's hard for people to find it. And you could take that right now, no problem.
Yeah.
You could also... A slide can always use minions. You might just take that new cohort, but that means you couldn't use a workshop. You'd have to get rid of the workshop. Because the cohort costs 2.
What does the workshop get us? Does that improve the quality of stuff made, or give you bonuses on the rolls, or the effect of the rolls?
That's a great question.
Just mechanically?
So right here, your lair has a workshop appointed with tools for tinkering and alchemy, as well as a small library of books, documents, and maps. You may accomplish long-term projects with these assets without leaving your lair.
Okay. So maybe given what we're, maybe given what we're doing, maybe we could lose the workshop and go for the
extra cohort.
Yeah, the cohort.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, great. I am going to go ahead and click off that we took the cohort. And so remember that you have three people roaming around. We don't have to find out who they are yet. You can kind of imagineer that as we go. And now Now, everybody, we are finally ready. Well, they need to choose a reputation, but let's go ahead and see what their reputation is as they play. Now we are finally ready to begin our score. So, Chuk, you've brought these people together. You're looking for a way to make a profit. You're looking for a way to make money. You have a friend and a rival. Your rival is a bounty hunter named Casta, and your friend is a spy named Valeris. These are contacts that you can use to find work for your crew. Who do you look into right now? Valeris the spy or Casta the bounty hunter?
I'm going to go to Valeris.
Valeris, very good. Okay, so you go to Valeris, and Valeris, actually, I think Valeris comes to you one night, okay. Chuk. And where do you meet your contacts?
Maybe perhaps on a bridge, a misty bridge.
Oh, very good.
Connecting, yeah, I don't know, because we're in Coleridge, right?
You're in Char Hollow, I think you said.
Hollow. Yeah, Char Hollow. Maybe connecting Char Hollow to, I'm looking at the map here, to Charter Hall? Is it Charter Hall?
Yeah, I think that there's a bridge there. Yeah. Let me check. Yeah. So, the bridge between Char Hollow and Charter Hall. Yes. Okay. Billowing clouds of completely opaque black smoke just surround this bridge, and the water beneath the bridge, I mean, it barely moves. It's like a sludge because of all the chemical effluents that drain out of the factories of Char Hollow. And you meet Valeris, and Valeris looks like a thug. Even though Valeris is a spy, Valeris is big. Valeris has enormous arms, like huge biceps, and Valeris has kind of like a scarred and sort of what is a pugnacious face. You know, it looks like he's taken a couple fists to the nose and broken his nose a couple times. But when Valeris is not undercover, Valeris behaves more like himself, and Valeris is quiet. Valeris is thoughtful, and Valeris is precise. And also when Valeris is as himself, Valeris wears these tiny circular glasses.
Oh my God.
To let you know that right now he's Valeris and he's not undercover in one of the gangs. And he meets with you, Chuk, on this bridge. Did you bring your other crew members with you?
Yes, I did.
Yes, let's say yes, just so that they could participate as well. And so you're all standing on this bridge, and Valeris says, "Thank you for coming."
Oh, Valeris, you look dashing as always. You look incredible. Yes.
Very funny, Chuk. Yeah.
I was hoping to actually introduce you to my new friends. Yeah. Please, get acquainted. This is Mathilda Webb to you. And
let me stop you. The less I knew about the three of you, the better. This guy can just remain a mystery to me. And you, I'm already forgetting your name.
Okay.
Are you sure these two can be trusted, Chuk?
Oh, with my life.
He kind of gives a wary look to the giggling woman seated somewhere on the bridge. What's he seeing when he looks at Canute?
I'm imagine like a 1970s fantasy illustration of a dwarf and just shave him. And it's that, like, just kind of like, yeah, you can trust us.
Valeris is mainly confused that Chuk has chosen two very small people. It's Chuk and two people that are less than 5 feet tall, it sounds like.
Yes. Valeris, let's then cut the bullshit. Tell me, Why are you here? Why did you call me? What's going on?
Okay, all right. I'll tell you. Look, here's the job. The Billhooks are going to attempt a robbery of a tattoo artist on Ink Lane. A word has it that this artist has a supply of Leviathan blood. The Billhooks could sell this for a huge profit, make a big payday off of that. I want you to stop this robbery from happening.
Wait, you want us to stop a robbery?
I want you to stop the crime from happening. I want you to stop the Billhooks from getting their hands on this Leviathan blood.
Why not go to the Bluecoats? This sounds so noble.
I'm not at leisure to tell you everything involved here. But the main thing you need to know is that when you see me, I'll be one of the Billhooks that are trying to rob the tattoo artist.
Oh, this is lovely. Okay, great.
Chuk, during the attempted robbery that you're gonna stop, I need you to hurt me. You have to make it look like there's no way I could be involved in stopping this robbery from happening.
I kind of look to my crew. Tell me this is crazy.
I don't know. I think I could hurt him pretty good.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sure that could be arranged.
Yes.
I don't want you putting me in the trauma ward. Just make it look real. Make it look like I got caught in the line of fire or threw a punch at the wrong guy and, twist my arm, break a leg or something.
Wow. You're giving us a lot here. I mean, look at the size of you.
It's gotta look good.
A performance. We're good at performances, aren't we, Muck?
Oh yeah, and then Muck, does Muck growl or bark?
Kind of growls.
Muck feels like maybe there's something wrong with him health-wise. I think there's like a bit of mange on Muck, and Muck's like...
Yes. Muck has your number. Okay.
You're perfect. No one would imagine that I'd ever hire this crew.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
How many? And how much? Those are my 2 questions.
How much? I can part with 4 coin.
4? Darling. Look at us.
Look. Also, anything in the shop that's not the Leviathan blood is yours.
Okay, now we're talking.
Just stop the Billhooks from getting their hands on the Leviathan blood. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
How many was my other question.
How many what, little girl?
Billhooks, of course. How many will there be?
I don't think many. I don't think they're sending, a war crew out.
Did that sound like a specific number to you? Because it did not sound like a specific number to me.
No.
No math in that, so...
Play nice.
4, including me. That's my estimate.
There we go. Thank you. You see? We got there in the end.
And you know that I'm not going to make any move against you that would be permanently damaging.
Valeris, we know. I know.
So it's a deal then?
We'll think about it. We need to do our rounds first. But I tell you, it is very, very enticing.
They're hitting the shop at dawn. The shop is called Triss. You know it. It's popular. Same name as the proprietor, Triss. Got it?
Yes.
Dawn.
I got it.
The dawn hour.
All right.
6. All right, be there. All right, now, Leave me here. I gotta stay here for a while to make sure this conversation wasn't suspicious. Go! Go now!
Let's leave. Kind of walking towards our towards our lair. As I do, I kind of look to the crew and I'm like, he's a good egg. Takes a bit of time. But I tell you what, that Leviathan blood is very tasty.
It must be very valuable if he wants it so badly. Maybe, I don't know, our performance becomes a little too realistic.
Already planning to betray your the guy that hired you. And that is where we will take a short commercial break. Now for a word from our sponsors. We'll be back with more Haunted City on the Glass Cannon Network in just a minute. Welcome back. Chuk's crew is about to go on their first score. They are a mob of ne'er-do-wells, rapscallions, lowlives, a real nasty bunch. And they are about to help a spy named Valeris pull off some chicanery. So you know the score, you know the plan. And the plan is that you must stop the billhooks from robbing the tattoo artist Triss on Ink Lane. And while you're doing that, Valeris will be a member of the billhooks, and you must hurt him to make it look like he did not hire you to stop them. We have to choose an approach for your crew. Every score has an approach, and the approach is one of several things: assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport. Now, some of these might not seem that obvious as an option, but if you can think of a plan that would fit in some way, for example, deception or even transport, then we can still pick that option. Some seem very obvious, like assault. So I'll allow you guys to talk that through in character or out. Let's see. You're in your lair, which is in Char Hollow. What do you think your lair is like? Actually, it says the crew must choose from one of several choices. We already have a crew with a half sunken grotto. So, do you think that Chuk's crew is in an abandoned watchtower, the unassuming back rooms of a merchant shop, a small abandoned house, a rickety tin-roofed shack, or a junked rail car? Where are you having this conversation? It's extremely important to me.
I mean,
it is.
Well, it's Chuk's crew, so I want to hear what Abu has to say before I say what I want.
No, please. I think the way that Chuk works is he presents the options and he allows the team to. That's how he builds trust. And that's how he builds, the crew. So please.
We all have a voice.
It's a democracy, damn it. I love the idea of the abandoned house. I think it's just very realistic. It's like we're squatters and, maybe we run power off of some other building and we have like a hot plate, and like all that kind of stuff. And we're kind of just living day to day, hoping that we don't get kicked out. But I also love the train car because I think it's funny.
I think the train car is hilarious.
I love the train car. I think both these are great, and they both fit with like the industrial landscape of Char Hollow.
Totally.
There would be like train trestles all over the place, moving slag out of these big industrial spaces. But then I can also imagine like a little house from almost a previous era that like just beat all the zoning. It was a big real estate holdout, and it's just flanked on both sides by giant warehouses and smoke belching factories.
Let's do the house.
Great. I love that idea too. Like there's factories and all this industrial machinery all around it, but just kind of like shoved or crammed in between two large stone, industrial buildings is this tiny little house with a shingled roof. And, the shutters falling off of it. So Chuk's house I have put in Char Hollow. And now you may discuss your approach. Assault, deception. Wait, let me get them all. Assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, or transport. What do you guys think it will be?
I think it should be an assault. Personally.
Okay.
I think that it's a. I don't know. It feels almost like an ambush. You know, we know the place, we know the time, we know everything, and we know the people. So it's almost like, okay, we are going to really kind of hammer it in.
So we're just playing it like we are stealing the Leviathan blood. We heard about the deal, and that's it. Like, we're just...
I think so.
Oh, you're playing it. That is quite an other wrinkle. You're playing it like you're stealing the Leviathan blood, and while you are playing it that way, you are going to stop the billhooks. Is that correct? Am I reading?
Wait. So am I right in thinking that? So So who has the Leviathan blood again?
Yes, the tattoo artist Triss.
Tattoo artist Triss.
Oh, and the billhooks are going to
steal it.
To steal it, and you have to stop them in some way.
You're supposed to stop them from stealing it. Yeah.
Valeris doesn't care how you stop them, as long as you stop them and you make sure to not in any way indict him in the proceedings, possibly by hurting him.
New idea. I thought the billhooks were doing a trade, so I thought that would be like the ambush. But it doesn't make sense if they're also stealing it, because also it makes Chuk an accomplice, like, to know about them like that. It makes it more complicated. But
What if
Mathilda says, thinking,
we all get tattoos? You know? It's a tattoo shop, Chuk. We could just walk in there. Get tattoos, wait, and then boom.
So we're all the unassuming customers, waiting for the turn in the chair. And when the billhooks come, the customers are there too. Have them meet with an unfortunate accident, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I love it. I think it's a genius idea. I think it's great. We have simply tattoos.
Wait. No, we can't. The tattoo shop's not gonna be open. They said they're going at dawn. Well, the whole plan's ruined. Let's start over.
You could gather information a little bit if you'd like to know more about the shop.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Wait. Let's find out some more, shall we? Because I like your idea. It's very good, very clever, very sly, yet so simple. I love it. So let's look into it, shall we?
Very good. Who would like to gather this information?
I'll do a hunt. Can I do that?
Absolutely.
The hunter-gatherer.
Yes.
Chuk goes out looking for information.
No agriculture for this guy. Hunting and gathering only.
Is the position controlled?
The position is controlled. Yeah. Because it's to gather information, there's not even really a position in effect. It is controlled.
Here we go. Let's see if my role as Chuk is as good as my role as Valkos. It is. 6, baby.
ooh.
6. You get a lot of information. Here's what you find out. Triss's tattoo shop is open all night long. It would still be open at 6 in the morning. Sometimes sailors get in at that time. And that is when Triss does her business. Triss caters to mainly to sailors. And you also learn that Triss gives a special tattoo only to sailors who have seen a Leviathan out on the dark seas outside of Doskvol. sort of a badge of honor that you are one of the few to have witnessed with your own eyes a Leviathan.
Okay.
And you also learn that Triss's tattoos, you learn so much because you got a 6. Triss's tattoos sometimes glow or have like an animation aspect to them.
Damn. So I kind of relay this to the team then. I share this with the team, and I kind of looked at Knut and I'm like, you know, you remind me of a sailor. I once went to a, let's call it a party with a sailor, and of course you are more better looking. But there's something about you, a quality about you, that looks almost sailorish. Wouldn't you say, Webb?
I could see it.
Yes.
Especially if, I don't know, you turned your hat around a little bit or
Yes.
wore a little tie around your neck. I could see it.
Yes. What do you
Performance,
think?
not really my forte, but I have worked down at the shipyard.
That's enough.
So
Tell me, have you ever seen a Leviathan?
I think he's maybe not been out on the ships. I've seen what they draw out of them, the plasmic blood and the ambergris that they bring out of the sea. Yeah.
Yes, you see, that's good. You see, this is where the performance is. It comes from truth. It comes from reality. So tell me. Go, please.
So then, you want me to go and get one of these tattoos?
Yes, and we are simply there to support, to join, to laugh, to love. I will be watching from outside, and I can tell you whether they are coming. And, Webb, you can choose whether to accompany Knut or accompany me. It is totally up to you. But I am best outside with my rifle, as you know.
Chuck, what do you know about Triss?
As I go to open my mouth, what do I know, GM?
You just know that Triss is probably, you got a 6, so I'll give you this information as well. You know that Triss is probably the most respected artist on Ink Lane, the hardest to get an appointment with, but probably would make an exception for a sailor who has witnessed a Leviathan for one of her special jobs, one of her special tattoos. And so, before we plan any more, and I'm sorry, I don't want to cut off Mathilda. Mathilda, with that information, is there something you would like to add?
She's just thinking, she's good with people, and she was just thinking, like, okay, so if the plan is to be there when they do the stealing of the Leviathan blood, Triss is obviously very interested in Leviathans, Leviathan blood. She does these tattoos. She has this blood. Maybe she does the tattoos with the blood, like, I don't know. But it's not going to be easy to reverse steal the Leviathan blood. Like, the first problem is them stealing it. The second problem is I assume Triss is going to be very protective of this blood and have some sort of wards or, like, guards or something. So she kind of just, says it kind of like,
but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I guess we will, because before any more planning occurs, I must ask us to just choose. It sounds like you have chosen an approach, and that approach sounds like deception to me. Does it sound like that to you?
Yeah, it sounds like deception.
Okay.
I think so.
And then I think we've chosen a detail as well. And the detail is that you're going to pose, it looks like Knut is going to pose as a sailor and get one of those very special tattoos that only Triss can do. Now, where the rest of you are at, it sounds like Chuk has an idea of where he would like to be positioned. We can wait to find that out. We can, and you can certainly put yourself anywhere you'd like. But it sounds like Canute, the technical expert, will be lying about who he is.
Yes, this is very much my weakness. But here we go.
No.
It's not too late to change the plan if you'd like, or we can kind of see what happens with this. I think definitely Canute is more believable maybe than Mathilda as a Leviathan hunter sailor, or is he? I mean, there's a lot in acting, right?
Right.
I mean, I could also, Mathilda, not that we're planning ahead, but Mathilda could go with you and like aid in some way. Like,
right.
You know, she can kind of speak for you and you're just dressed like a sailor.
Yeah. Is an option also.
Very good. I mean, maybe that's the way it's going to go. So I get the approach and I get the detail. Let's do the engagement roll. Okay. Before we do the engagement roll, though, item loadouts. Are you going heavy, moderate, or light with this? Each of you can choose differently. If you go heavy, people can tell you're obviously armed with a bunch of gear. If you go moderate, if you're searched, they'll immediately find your gear. If they see you really up close or do any kind of inspection, they'll see that you're armed with gear for a job. If you go light, no one will be the wiser. Everything fits in your pocket or in your jacket. So it's very hidden that you are part of a job.
So once again, not trying to walk out of the plan, just laying out mechanical facts that so much of the deal of this kind of like expertise is craftiness and gear, and this position will probably be de-geared to sell the performance. But maybe not. Maybe not.
We could change the plan.
Yeah, I mean, what we could potentially do is I could try and go in and talk as the hunter of the Leviathan. And essentially do that while you set up the trap in a way. Right. We could switch roles in that regard.
I mean, yeah, you don't technically like have to be a sailor either. Like you could just go in and say like you hunt Leviathan and you know Triss's business. So, does she have any interest in like cutting a deal for your next hunt? Like it could be just a lie, a straight up lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the plan? Is that?
I think either way it's going to be a deception.
It's a deception.
Yeah.
The detail is that someone is posing as a Leviathan hunter, right?
You know what? Let's just go for it. Let's go. First idea, best idea.
Let's go for it. Let's go. Canute is posing as a Leviathan hunter. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. Is this operation particularly... Well, first of all, you start with 1 die for your engagement roll. Is the operation particularly bold or daring? Yeah, because you went deception, which is sort of unexpected for a crew of bravos, I think it is. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I'm going to say yes, because you found out a very specific thing about this tattoo shop, and then you're exploiting that idea as part of your job. I'm adding a die for that. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight? No, in fact, your contact is asking you to fulfill extra duties for him, so I'm not going to give you that. Are there any other elements you want to consider? Are they lower tier? No. Okay. Now I take away dice if I think that there are problems you haven't considered. And I'm going to take away 1 die, and here's why. You guys are planning on double jobbing this. You're planning on doing the score at hand and also getting your hands on the Leviathan blood. Is that correct?
Who knows, GM?
Who knows what might happen, huh?
The opportunity presents itself.
Okay.
We might change our minds if stuff gets too sticky.
Stuff gets crazy as shit.
Okay, you know what? I think that you, I think you've got a pretty good start of a plan here. It at least sounds entertaining to me. So I'm going to allow you to keep all 3 die in your engagement pool, and I'm going to roll right now. You understand if you roll the highest 1 to 3, you're in a weak position. If you roll For a 5, you're in a risky position at the beginning of this score. And if you roll a 6 or more, well, you can't roll more, then you're in a controlled position. Okay, I rolled 2 5s and a 6. You're in a controlled position at the start of the score. And so I'm going to go ahead and place Canute in the chair.
Great.
Wow.
We are going to skip over Canute having to lie his way into getting Triss to believe he is a sailor. Now, he may have to lie later, but already he's gotten into the chair. Let me give you a little bit of the lay of the land. There are 2 real sailors also in the shop, and it looks like they've been drinking all night, and they're sitting waiting for their turn, and they're singing. That's how drunk they are. They're like, "Oh, I knew a lass in White Hollow, she had bloomers." They're just drunkenly singing with each other, and Triss is kind of getting her materials together. Triss is bald so that she can fit more tattoos on herself. She had tattoos going all the way up her scalp, down her arms and shoulders, which are also exposed. Triss wears pants, but then very little other clothes, so she can expose all of her incredible work that she's maybe done on herself or had a very good artist do. And it's all abstract, and it all fits into a beautiful, tessellated design. And she is getting her equipment ready to tattoo Canute. And one more thing. Ink Lane ends at an old rotting dock that is starting to collapse into the water, and Triss's shop is at the very end of Ink Lane, kind of hanging out over the water a little bit, connected to and sort of above this rotting dock.
Great to know.
So,
Great to know.
Knowing all of that, where is Mathilda?
I think Mathilda is going in moderately armed.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. The moderate load.
And she's in the shop. She went in with Canute, and I think she is kind of just playing the role of a night of revelry and has her short dress hiked up and tucked into the waistband and acts like she's so excited that her friend, this sailor, is back and is getting this tattoo, and she just kind of came in through the doors with him and was like, "Oh, you'll never believe it," and she's just gushing, and every time the sailors sing or talk, she's clapping, kind of just playing dumb.
Yeah, so maybe, she's acting a little bit as Canute's lady in this port of call, or his companion for the night, perhaps. I don't know. But she's definitely a part of the revelry. And I think that maybe that's why Canute's already in the chair, because Mathilda has really sold their performance. Where is Chuk?
I am positioned in either, if she's in the dock, is there any sort of window or hole or anything that I can see the tattoo place in and see the road that maybe they're coming in, where people come in and out from? I'm trying to keep myself up high, essentially.
There are other shops along this lane. There are many tattoo shops, and then there are shuttered now, but sort of places where they open the sort of stall on the side of the storefront, and they sell food out of that. This is kind of a walking street, right? It's very very narrow. Really, the buildings are clustered in tightly on both sides, but then right before you just go off into the water, there stands Triss. That's the name of the shop and the name of the artist. It just says Triss in big, kind of artistically, written letters out on the front. So that's a long way of saying, yes, you could definitely perch on one of these roofs. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yeah, I've got it. I'm perched there with and Muck is kind of right next, sort of I can see Muck because I've got the ghost sort of link with Muck, I can, communicate with Muck, and Muck sort of just looking like a little stray every now and then and sort of dilly-dallying, and I'm sort of smoking a cigarette, kind of keeping my eye, like I've got eyes above, but Muck has got eyes below, and that's the kind of way that we're kind of going around.
So, Chuk, is Muck up there on the roof with you, or is Muck down?
No, Muck's down. Yeah.
Acting
down,
as a stray. Okay, I understand. And
Yeah.
Chuk, I will tell you that because of your controlled position, that you can see through the front door of the shop, and you can also see into one window of the shop. And right now, you can see Knut sitting in the chair through that window.
I can see it with my spyglass. Just look.
Oh yeah. Check that off of your inventory. Wait, what is your load? Normal. Okay. And what is Knut's load?
To sell the deception, it is light.
Okay, very good. Okay, so you can see Knut through the window, and you can actually see the sailors sitting and waiting their turn through the open door. The door is just open to customers at this time of night. It's always night in Doskvol. And let's start with Triss turning around and going, "Okay, sailor, what'll it be?"
Based upon what I've seen. And he's like he's rolling up one sleeve. He's got two almost like suspenders pouched up, both of them, just rolling up one sleeve. What I've seen, I think I'm owed the mark of the beast of the sea, yeah?
Oh, fuck.
You're sure?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because once I put it on you, it won't come off.
I understand that when one undertakes anything, one must weigh the consequences. Don't worry.
She points at your forehead and she goes, "The mark's already in here anyway, isn't it?"
That's right.
She gets her needles ready.
And I am watching everything. I want to see where this... Because I have a feeling that this... Am I about to see the blood itself?
And then she says, "One moment." And she walks into the back.
Like craning, looking back there.
Would you say that you're trying to find out what she's doing?
Yes.
Yeah, Mathilda is too, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. Then what action are you using to do that?
Prowl? Mathilda can, I guess, use prowl. Maybe you are in the chair, but like, can Mathilda, I guess, just like kind of walk by the corner she walked around and...
Yeah, maybe that's the move. I think it's like, maybe instead of me looking, it's me making very meaningful eye contact with Mathilda, like...
Okay, Mathilda, the risk here is that you'll be caught, right?
Yeah.
Right? Do we think that's the risk, or are you kind of not going all the way back? Are you going all the way back into the back room and sneaking that way, or are you staying outside?
I think she's going to walk into, I don't know what the layout is, but unless it's like opening a locked door, I think she is walking into the back to see what it is. And in my mind, her excuse is just like, I was looking for the bathroom. Like anything that she could use that excuse for. So I don't want to walk into a room that's closed.
I feel like Doskvol, especially down on the docks, has disgusting privies and not full bathrooms. That's not me correcting you and saying you can't do that.
No, that's valid.
Yeah, but and who knows? Maybe Triss just shits off the dock, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, that we'll deal with that when we come to it. So I want you to know that the risk here is that you could be caught, and that would be bad. Because who knows how Triss would react. Let me have that prowl roll. Risky, and it will be for standard effect. You will find out some information about what she's doing back there.
And I just want to say, you can resist the effects. Remember, we get +1 die as well because of our cruel experiences of being forged in fire.
That's right. Anything that
That's
happens,
a very
you can
good point.
resist.
So, resistance isn't just when someone's stabbing you. You can resist when someone catches you doing something wrong, or, anything can be resisted. So, here we go. How many? What action are you using? Prowl, right?
Prowl.
And how many dots do you have in prowl?
Just one.
Okay.
I wonder if I should push myself, but then I'm worried I'll already be stressed up before the fight. I'm just gonna roll it. I'm just gonna roll it and see what happens.
Yeah, you could push yourself. You could take 2 stress to get an extra die. I don't have any devil's bargain here for you, so you're gonna go with a straight up roll.
Wait a tick.
Here we go. Chuk is a big meta gamer. Go ahead.
Meta gamer. I'm just saying. You told me I could see through a window, right?
Yeah.
Can I see what's going on inside with my spyglass?
You can't see into the back room, my friend.
Shit.
But you
Okay, never
can
mind.
definitely see Canute in the chair, and you can see the sailors waiting.
Cool.
I'll just do it. I mean, whatever. This is risk and reward.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Okay, hit it. Let me have that prowl roll.
Here's that prowl roll coming in. Hot. Oh, risky. Submit. Standard. Submit. Oh, my bonus dice. 0. There's a lot of inputs in roll 20, huh?
There is, yeah. It wants to know everything.
Oh my days.
Fuck me sideways.
Oh my
Oh, dear.
Fuck
Okay,
that
that's
one
a
up.
1. So that's a failure.
Oh my days.
So
Oh my days.
you go back there trying to look around, and you're in some sort of like stock room kind of area where there are a lot of high shelves and things on the shelves. And you see maybe a little desk where she does her numbers. And you can't. Where is she? Where is she? And then suddenly a hand grabs your wrist, and she looks into your eyes, and she's kind of scary. I mean, she even has tattoos like on her face, and she's like, "Looking for something?"
Yeah, I was just looking for you. I think.
Customers aren't allowed back here.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I think that sailors are gonna be sick in your shop.
That's why you're back here?
For a bucket, or I don't know, if you want to kick them out, I guess. It's your
Is
shop.
that why you came back here?
Well, I was looking for you, and I found you.
What action are you going to use to make her believe you?
Sway.
Okay, very good. Now we're moving to
really
something we have a
believable.
lot of dots in.
All right.
Would you like to push yourself?
No, I think 3 dots. It's my best. I'm just gonna roll it.
Devil's Bargain, you can have, 3 dots you already have. I'll give you a Devil's Bargain, which is if you succeed here, you will succeed to the point where she's going to be angry with the sailors and maybe even kick them out.
I don't care about them.
Do you want to take that die?
Yes, I do.
Okay, very good.
All right, so is it risky or...
Yeah, this is risky, and it will be for standard effect, but I said the Devil's Bargain is it'll actually be for great effect. She'll 1000% believe you and kick the sailors out.
Okay. And then my bonus die is just 1 from the Devil's Bargain.
That's right.
Okay, here we go. Come on,
Wait,
Matilda.
hold on.
What?
Hold on, wait. Before you do, there's a reason this is called Devil's Bargain instead of Angel's Bargain, because that sounded like a very much like an Angel's Bargain right there. Why is it Devil's Bargain? What happens if she fails?
Why is it a Devil's Bargain? I'm not going to tell you right now.
Man,
That's right.
All
Oh boy. Okay, well, I don't know why, so I'm not gonna metagame, but all right, submit.
All right, so 4-4-5-5. So success with a consequence. So according to our Devil's Bargain, she is going to go and talk to them and kick them out if they are about to get sick in her shop. But there is a consequence for you. And I think that consequence is going to be a 4-segment clock called Triss Knows What's Up.
Oh no.
And that
shit.
and that clock is going to go ahead and lose one segment. Okay, and that's the consequence. But she does go according to the Devil's Bargain and goes to kick them out, and they're very drunk and they're like, "What? We're not sick. We're fine. Who told you that?"
Fucking hell.
And Triss is like, "She did. She said you're about to get sick in my shop, and I don't want it. I've got chemicals in here. Everything's got to be just so." And they're like, "She told you what?" And now they're both looking at Mathilda. "We're fine. We're fine." We're completely fine. We're here for our badge of honor. We're here to prove we saw it. I saw it. Do you understand? I saw one. And they seem to be quite angry with you. And they narrow their eyes at Mathilda, and they're like, "You little tramp! You're keeping me from getting my badge of honor. I'll remember you."
If Triss isn't looking at Mathilda and they are, Mathilda winks and then flashes her ass with her skirt at them.
And then they walk out looking just completely furious with Mathilda. All right, so let me just write my clock. Triss.
Question.
Yeah.
I fucked that all up and took a big risk, but when Triss went to the front to go yell at the sailors, was there any chance I saw anything back there? You said a desk. I assume I would have looked around a little bit more.
Well, you failed, so you did not learn anything.
Interesting.
And that is when Triss goes back into the back. But while she's doing that, I want to know how Chuk is surveying, like what action are you using? I'm sorry, I'm named an action. You can use any action you want, but how are you kind of keeping watch?
I think I'm just looking for anything suspicious. So from above, I'm seeing if anyone isn't shopping or anyone isn't mingling or interacting. And then below with Muck, I think Muck is kind of sniffing for Valeris, essentially, and trying to see if Valeris is in the area. Because if Valeris is in the area, then everyone else is in the area. So that's kind of the sort of link that I'm having. Muck's got the good nose. I've got the good eyes.
Would you like to use Muck's nose or your eyes, or what action would you like to use?
I'd like to use Muck's nose. I think it's quite hard to see.
You have that mind link with Muck through your special ability, so that would work perfectly. What action do you think you're using there?
I think if it's Muck, it's going to be Hunt.
Yeah, and you know what?
Sniffing.
What's your Hunt score?
2.
Because you're using Muck's nose and your special ability, go ahead and take 3.
Oh, mate.
And it's going to be controlled for standard effect.
Okay. Controlled. Standard effect. This one die. 554.
You start to notice that there are people out on the street, and they are making way for a group of 4 men and women who you can immediately tell they look like they are in heavy load. Cool. Like they're carrying like cleavers and hooks. They also, one is wearing like a big top hat with like a feather in it. And there's a woman who has long braid that goes all the way down her back. And she's got a couple knives on her person that she's not making any real effort to hide. And people are moving out of their way as they come through. But they're not just like heading straight for Triss with no, like, immediately like a straight shot. They're kind of like talking to people on the street, moving around, like taking the lay of the land, chatting with people. And because you rolled a 554, that means there's a consequence. They start chatting with the 2 sailors that just came out of the shop, who are still yelling and complaining and drunkenly, just griping.
Can I then? I don't know if this counts as a flashback or anything. Yeah, I think it is a flashback. I've told the crew that when you hear the howl of Muck, shit's about to go down.
Excellent.
And so I'm going to, link to Muck and be like, unleash that beautiful howl of yours.
Very good. That's a 1 stress flashback. I just want to imagine Chuk in the little house training Muck to do his you've already instructed your crew that when that happens, here comes the bill hooks. Among them, by the way, is Valeris. You see him there, and Valeris is also carrying a big hook, and you see he's kind of acting like this, like he's acting very differently, and his body language is very different, and he's kind of shaking his hook, and that's when Chuk goes, and it's impossible not to hear that inside Triss's shop. Triss has gone into the back again. You two, Canute and Mathilda, you're alone when you hear the howl. What do?
Mathilda looks at Canute.
All right, time for action. Stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan that we've definitely already gone through in specifics. Right. Look, you can always choose to say, I wait or I do nothing. You do not, you say, well, you can go, well, obviously this is Chuk's turn to act or something like that. I just want to let you know you have that option, even though I've turned the camera on you for a moment.
Yeah, Mathilda nods at Canute, like, stick to the plan, and she reaches into her pouch, one of her, like, small pockets under her frilly dress that she's wearing, and she pulls out a small bag of, like, a chalky powder, and she puts her hand in the bag and pinches some of the powder and just holds it.
Is that part of your inventory?
Yes, it is.
Oh, should I know what it is now, or would you rather surprise me?
I'll surprise you if I use it. She's, like, readying a possible action depending on what happens first, but...
Understood. Canute, anything you want to do to prepare?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the pouches kind of flips open as Triss is in the back, and just a small object goes into his big wide palm, and he just kind of sits back in the chair and gets ready.
Triss comes back out and goes, all right, sailor, let's get started. And you can see that there is a tiny jar, and it's glowing bright blue, like it's luminescent, and she is connecting it to her gun. And that is when Chuk, you, and Muck see that it's the bill hooks. The bill hooks are now moving toward the tattoo shop with the two sailors in tow. That equals 6 people are moving toward the tattoo shop.
Here's a question.
Yes.
What does electroplasmic ammunition do? That's only to hit ghosts, right?
Well, it would help you hurt ghosts or, beings from, a supernatural realm. But who knows what it would do if you hit a normal human with it? We can kind of find out if you'd like.
Because I think what I'm going to do is if they begin walking in, all of them walking in, I'm going to start walking down the stairs and draw 2 fine pair of pistols and put electroplasmic ammunition in them and kind of go from behind, essentially, and kind of ambush them from behind, keeping them trapped within Triss's building.
Well, now, then I want you to tell me, I'm going to describe what they're doing, and I want you to tell me the exact moment when you are behind them with your guns drawn. But in order for you to do that, it's going to take an action, I think, because you are essentially sneaking up behind somebody. Yep. So figure out what that action is and tell me when you make your move. So they move down along the street. They kind of look they're right in front of the shop now. They look both ways, down the alleys, kind of behind the shop. To make sure that there's nobody to interfere. And then one of them lifts a brick and tosses it through the shop window. The shop window shatters. Triss is like, what the... do they say fucking Doskvol? What the... What the flames of whatever? Chris uses a Doskvolian expletive and jumps back as a brick goes through the window, and now they are moving into the doorway, but they must move into the doorway single file. It's not big enough for 6 people to move in too strong in a row. So they are moving in. The one with the top hat, the man with the top hat and the cleaver and the feather on his hat is moving in first. And now they're all moving in. The sailors are coming up last. Yep.
That's when I kind of come in behind, like trap them in.
Yeah, give me
and I'm gonna prowl.
Give me your prowl roll.
And what's the position? Would it be controlled?
It's going to be no. I think it's. I think that this is a little harder than just staying up in your perch.
Okay.
Risky for standard effect, which means you'll have the jump on them.
Okay. 5.
A 5 success with a consequence. Here's the consequence. You waited a little too late, and they're all in the shop except for one of the sailors.
Okay.
Do you want to let him know you're there? Because they were completely unaware of you.
No. What I will do is I will kind of lean to the sailor and be like, I'd stay out if I were you. And then walk in. So...
Okay, great. Are you trying to scare him into staying out?
Pretty much.
What action are you using?
Oh, God. Shit.
If you fail, he's gonna fight you right now.
Can't I use Muck to like growl and intimidate? Does Muck have a character sheet?
Muck works through you, so
okay.
Just like I let you earlier use one of your actions, but I gave you a little bonus with Muck. I'm not always gonna give you a bonus. That was sort of an outside of the rules thing I did.
Oh man! All right. The thing is I don't have anything in command consort sway.
Here's an idea. May I assist? And can this assist roll? I'll take 1 stress, I think. But can I have rigged up your pistols to be more than average intimidating? Does this make sense? So rather than like it's just like guns coming out, like just something is like swiveling into place, like there's some weird like almost like piston thing like
oh my god, yeah.
And, like you're just hearing all this like John Wickian cacophony off these guns as they because
that
of work that I've
like
done for them.
That actually sounds like a flashback, Canute. And this time I'd like an action during the flashback. So do you think that maybe we'd flash back to you working on the guns?
Man, if this is going to cost a whole flashback, I'd like maybe a little bit more than for them to be just intimidating. If they could be improved in some way even more.
Let's see how your roll goes.
Let's do it. I'll tinker on those guns.
But listen, your flashback will give you some benefit no matter what. You're paying stress, so I'm not going to give you a useless flashback.
Great.
But so they'll be intimidating, right? With your flashback if you take the stress. But if you do really well in this roll, maybe they'll do other things.
Super.
Okay.
Let's go.
So you're working on the guns.
6, baby.
A 6.
So yeah, just like just see like coils of pipes and girders, smoke and steam in a back in like a shop floor of one of these factories where Canute pays off like a foreman to occupy like a little table, and like sparks flying and like the smell of oil as like a dowel runs up through this pistol, and then like also a round of ammunition is being like injected with something. Like
yes. So what this gun does, these guns do, we don't quite know yet. You guys can pitch things to me at important points. I think either Chuk or Canute can pit,
I'd love Canute to just tell me, like, because I have no idea.
You mentioned the electroplasm. So let's say that they don't just like click, click, click. When you like pull those hammers back, there's like spark craft in them. So you hear not just like the sound of a hammer ratcheting back, but like a and like a smell of burning ozone as these 2 pistols like kind of come to life in your hands. And they will be shooting some like electroplasmified ammunition, like in the way you'd put like depleted uranium in a round of
Holy
lead.
shit.
There's like depleted electroplasm in the bullet.
Very good. So I will just say, please take 2 stress for that.
You got it.
Because you've given yourself quite a benefit. And then I will say that sailor, when he sees those things, immediately goes, all right, okay. And then he does vomit a little bit and stumbles off away from the shop.
I knew he was sick.
Inside the shop, Mathilda and Canute, suddenly 5 people have entered. You recognize one of the sailors. There's a man with top hat that I mentioned. There's a woman with a long braid. There's Valeris. There's another guy who, I mean, he's really tall. Like, you guys are under 5 feet, and this guy's probably like 6'9", something like that. And he's carrying like a machete, and his clothes. He's trying to wear like, Victorian clothes with like bow ties and like a jacket and stuff, but everything is definitely too small and has kind of been like poorly stitched together to fit him. And he's holding like a big machete. And then there's the sailor I mentioned earlier, who's in full, I think, 19th century sailor garb, where there's even like a little ribbon coming off the side of the hat. But he looks like someone who's been driven hard and put away wet, which he probably was out on the seas outside of Doskvol. And immediately the tall guy smashes a mirror in here with his machete, and Triss is sitting there holding the ink and the gun, and she goes, "Good evening, can I help you all?" And the guy with the hat goes, "The blood, let's see it now, or we're gonna do some redecorating." "I don't know what you're talking about." Blood? "Trash the place." And the billhooks start just knocking over the other chairs, ripping down artwork, and they are just trashing the entire shop, breaking all the windows. What do you do?
I think...
If their attention's not on us,
Yeah, Mathilda's like...
I will let them find this blood, the
Yeah.
blood cache, and just be like, "No quarrel with you, gentlemen." I'm just there in the chair.
You notice that Valeris is going like, "Yeah!" and like just smashing a chair to bits, like he's like completely in like the midst of like berserker rage. And you also notice that like the tall guy and the guy in the top hat and even Valeris are taking out these little vials and going and pocketing them before they continue to trash things. And would anybody like to do anything, or would you like to see the scene play out some more?
I'm curious about the sailor who hates me. What's he doing? Is he trashing the place too?
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, "You kick me out, I'll show you. I'm gonna kick you out of your own shop." And he actually walks over and looks like he's going to try to do bodily harm to Triss.
Oh.
Okay, when he goes to do that, as he lunges at, because she's close to me with the gun.
Yeah.
I will try to stealthily push that vial that I had in my hand into his thigh. And this vial in my loadout is full of standstill poison.
Okay, I think that this is a risky action. And are you trying to do this
Surreptitiously.
very surreptitiously? Okay, I love it. So that makes it a little trickier, maybe. Because I think that if people see that you are armed and using these kinds of things, all of their attention is going to be on you, Canute, and you don't want that.
Right.
Canute, what action are you going to use to do this?
Finesse.
Finesse. Okay, and I'm going to say that this is this desperate? I think it's desperate because you don't want the whole gang to suddenly know that you are this opposing agent.
Right.
And someone carrying standstill poison and like quietly trying to inoculate one of their members with it stands out like a definite enemy agent. So I'm going to say it's desperate, and I think you're going to get great effect, though. I think that if you do this, you will not only have made this guy stand still, but no one will know that you did that.
Okay. Here we go, baby. Ooh, 5.
Ooh. Success with a consequence. Okay, so here is the effect and the consequence. He immediately goes rigidly stock still. And it looks like the way his leg was forward and the way his feet were positioned, when he's paralyzed, he can't quite keep his feet, right? Mm-hmm. So before he's able to grab her, he just falls to the ground, and it looks kind of like he passed out. Here's the problem. He knocked the little tube out of your hand, and it hit the ground, and it rolled along the ground, and the clock that Triss knows what's up goes up 1 tick.
Mm-hmm.
I think when that happens, when Canute makes his move, Mathilda also makes her move because she's not sure what the plan is. Is he jumping in? So I think she also goes for Triss to try to protect her in that same second that everything's happening. And she pulls Triss to turn her around, and she opens her hand and goes and blows a powder into Triss's face. And she grabs her by the cheeks on either side, and she says,
I think we have to kill them.
Referring to everyone breaking stuff.
I love that she's going to do that, but let's see if she's able to do that, said the really obnoxious game master.
Mwah, mwah.
Wow. Let me kill your fun by forcing you to roll. What action is she using to kind of grab her and pull off this?
Well, I was going to say sway to be convincing, but I might just use my special action if it needs to be prowl or finesse to make it not noticed, if that's the concern.
It's up to you. You know what? That's a good point. If you don't use one of those things, it probably will be noticed.
It'll look weird.
Yeah, it'll look like something's up.
Okay, what if I make it less obvious? What if I just go to protect Triss, like a scared shop member, and I just stuff the powder in her face and whisper in her ear as I go to protect her from the guy seemingly going to attack her.
And you're making the argument that you'd like to use sway?
Sway to make it just look like I'm, scared. I'm just I don't know what's going on.
I like it. If you use sway, I think you're using a talking approach. So you're not really, you're kind of getting her to listen to you, and then once she's really focused on you, you're delivering the dust, right? And what is this dust exactly?
So I have it in my items, and it's trance powder. So the victim of this powder is not fully unconscious, but they retreat into a calm, suggestible mental state similar to hypnotism. So she's suggesting,
whispering in her ear, that these people are dangerous. We have to protect the shop.
Great. You let me have your action roll. You can use sway. I'll allow it. I think that this is going to be risky.
Okay.
For, you know what? I'm gonna make it limited effect. Either you can get her trust, or you can keep it secret that you blew the powder. You need to choose one.
Okay.
Do you want her trust, or do you want to not show that you blew the powder? It's different because if you have her trust, she will do what you say, but everybody will know you used the powder. If you make it surreptitious, where no one saw you use the powder, she's just gonna be catatonic.
Fuck. Neither of those things are very helpful.
I know, and sometimes I let people do double, and sometimes, 2 things on a roll, and sometimes I only allow 1. How about if I make this deal with you? Let's call it a devil's bargain. You can do both, but you're gonna take a little bit of the trance powder too. It's gonna blow in your face as well.
Do I hypnotize myself?
Well, we'd find out after you take the dose.
You know what? I'll take this devil's bargain.
Oh my
I like
God.
it.
Okay, so go ahead and give me that sway. You can. You're not getting an extra die from this devil's bargain. You're just getting more effect. You're getting a standard effect.
Oh man.
Let's see.
Oh, 6. That was a success.
Nice.
A 6, a full success. So I think what happens is you get in really close with her before you release the trance powder,
Too close.
When you do that, a little bit gets in your face, right? So you're both like a little tranced out now, and you deliver your message like, you've got to follow me. You know, we need to stop these people. And what you see is, because you got a 6, you did it all with talking, and you haven't touched her, right? You did it all with talking, and you're glad that you didn't touch her, because you see that her tattoos crackle a little bit. And that electrostatic shock sort of seems to flow down them after she listens to you and knows that she has to stop these folks. She has a defense of her own that might be useful to you, Slide.
Amazing. And she looks up after Mathilda does that. She looks up, wiping her nose from the powder, and she looks at Canute and kind of just does the head nod.
Oh, but I forgot to give you your level 1 harm, tranced.
Dang it.
Entranced. And what does a level 1 harm mean? Just a review for everybody out there in Naish land. A level 1 harm means you get less effect if the roll has something to do, if your tranced state would somehow mess with the roll, you would get less effect.
Okay.
Yes, you got it, entranced. Okay, perfect. So that's done. And now the billhooks have mostly finished up trashing the shop. Why don't we find out what's happening with Chuk? Oh, no, you've walked in, right, Chuk?
Yep.
You're watching this. Canute, you're in a position to act as well.
So yes,
or
we
you
just-
kind of just acted. So, Chuk, what do you do?
So I kind of, as soon as they kind of stop moving around, I kind of just give a little. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
They all
The
turn to
guns.
face you.
Yes, what you're doing is. And I just pull the gun. I just fire at the guy with the top hat. Just bang! To see what the gun does first.
And that is a great place to stop for today.
Just zoom down the barrel of the gun
Yeah.
and go to black.
I love that Abu was like, you know what? I just want to find out what the gun does.
I was like thinking, I can't be bothered to talk.
I might be the first person to say this in Doskvol, but fuck it.
I just made up a new curse. It's called Fuck It.
Naish, that's right. You're going to get 2 episodes of Chuk's crew as a little bit of a intermission from our crew, The Remnant. And we will be back next week with the conclusion of this score. And if there's time, we'll do a little downtime with Chuk's crew to find out what they get up to when they indulge their vices. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Ross, Bryant, Abu Salim, and Sydney Amanuel for being here. I can't wait to see more of these freaks. Until next time, Naish, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.